Calling the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the West Orange Board of Education Public Board Meeting on September 19th, 2022. I would like to thank all of you here in person and those watching from home for joining us tonight. I'd also like to welcome my fellow board members, as well as Dr. Schoen and Ms. Flowers. And you'll see we have some new faces on our dais tonight, and they will be introducing themselves shortly. But first, I'd like Ms. Flowers to take the roll call.
Roll call, Mrs. Huerta,
Here.
Mr. Rock,
Here.
Mr. Stevenson,
Here.
Vice President Rothstein, President Tunnicliffe.
Here.
Thank you. Good evening. Notice of meeting. Please take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner. That a written notice was sent from the office of the Secretary of the Board at 4 p.m. on January 7th, 2022. That said notice was sent by regular mail to the West Orange Township Clerk and the editors of the West Orange Chronicle and the Star Ledger. That said notice was posted in the lobby of the Administration Building of the Board of Education. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers. So as I mentioned earlier, we have some new faces on our dais tonight, and we have our new student liaisons joining us this evening. And I would like to give each of them a moment to introduce themselves. We actually have 4 of them tonight, all here tonight. 2 will be presenting, and I'd like them to take it away.
Hello, everyone. It's very nice to meet you all. My name is Yusheen Lee. Pronouns are she, her, and I'm currently a junior at West Orange High School. I am fairly new to the district. I transferred here last year. However, I have immersed myself in many projects and extracurriculars here at the high school. And not only do I plan to do so in the future, but I'm also very excited to working with you all to improve the experience of getting an education here at West Orange.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mara Baker. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a senior here at the high school. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be one of the student liaisons this year and to be the bridge between the students and the administration. Aside from being a student liaison, I participate in drama club, Cobblestone, Mountaineer mentoring, and 3 honor societies. As someone who's also spent a lot of time being involved with student council, it's always been a mission of mine to listen to the ideas and concerns of students and work with the administration and advisors to address these ideas and concerns. Being the student representative on the State Board of Education last year also taught me how to better work with students and administrators. And I know that having that experience will definitely help me be a better liaison to this board. I'm so excited for the year ahead, and I know that working together, we can continue to make West Orange schools better and more inclusive for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Gianna and Lance.
Hello. Hello, my name is Gianna Dorval. I'm a senior. I use any pronouns. I'm really excited to be a student liaison because I really want to bring change around to the school, to like all the schools in West Orange. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lance Seligson. I'm a senior at West Orange High School. My pronouns are he, him. Some of the extracurriculars I'm a part of are Mountaineer Mentor, Drama Club, Glee Club, the Boys Varsity Swim Team, the Nikhil Badlani Youth Advisory Board, and 8 honor societies. I am looking forward to serving as part of the Board of Education, and like Maura and Eugene said, bridging the gap between students and the Board of Education. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. Before we do the superintendent's report, I'd like to, in consideration of the closed and public meeting minutes of August 20th, 22nd, and September 13th, do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. Ms. Flowers, would you kindly take the roll call?
Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Schoen, it's time for your report.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. You're very
Evening.
quiet. Good evening. Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to celebrate people, our staff members, programs, and our infinite possibilities. Let's begin with people, our current staff, and soon to be new member of our staff. Last week, Liz Venenziano, our English and Language Arts Supervisor, 6 to 12, shared some amazing news with me regarding two of our secondary English teachers. Edison teacher Maheen Ahmad and high school teacher Christina Biddle have received Fulbright Awards.
Yep.
Led by the United States government in partnership with more than 160 countries worldwide, the Fulbright program offers international educational and cultural exchange programs for passionate and accomplished students, scholars, artists, teachers, and professionals of all backgrounds to study, teach, or pursue important research and professional projects. Today, the Fulbright program is considered one of the largest and most prestigious educational exchange programs and extremely competitive. While Maheen Ahmad could not be with us here tonight, we congratulate her on this amazing accomplishment. She said earlier, I'm ecstatic about the opportunity to join the Fulbright Teachers for Global Classroom program. Learning about the education systems of different countries has always been a dream of mine. The program itself includes taking online courses for a few months, along with about 60 other participants, attending a multi-day conference, and then spending 2 weeks in a select country learning about their education systems. I don't know exactly when or where I'll be traveling, but it should either be sometime in the summer or spring. Please join me in congratulating Maheen. Our second awardee is West Orange High School teacher Christina Biddle, and she is here with us tonight. Would you wave, Christina? There she is. Christina Biddle is thrilled and honored to have been accepted into this year's Fulbright Distinguished Awards in Teaching Research Program. Under the grant, she will live in Finland for 6 months, beginning in January, where she will conduct an inquiry based on Finland's approach to phenomenon-based learning. This unique approach will afford students the opportunity to examine a phenomenon from the perspective of multiple disciplines and see the world as it is, so that one day they might help devise solutions to the world's problems. Ms. Biddle really looks forward to learning from the Finnish approach, education, and finding creative ways that we might all learn from. Please join me in congratulating Christina, and if you'd come on up for a sec. Awesome. Thank you, Cynthia. Tonight, also, our board will vote on a resolution to hire Mr. Oscar Guerrero, a proud West Orange resident, as our new high school principal. Mr. Guerrero began his career in education as a social studies teacher in Kearney High School, where he also served as head football coach. He then moved on to a position in the West New York Public Schools in 2010. This included positions as a social studies teacher, elementary assistant principal, and for the past 3 years, principal of Memorial High School, which has a student body of more than 2,000 students. Mr. Guerrero is a graduate of St. Peter's College, so am I, with a master's in administration and supervision. He holds a bachelor's of arts in history and sociology from Lehigh University, where he was also a Division I scholar athlete on their football team. He has been described as a compassionate, knowledgeable, and humble educational leader who places his focus on fostering an equitable and accessible environment where everyone, no matter their identity or their circumstances, can belong, be inspired, and ultimately thrive. It is with great enthusiasm, upon approval of the board this evening, that we welcome you, Mr. Guerrero, as our new high school principal. would you like to say a few words or am I putting you on the spot? Outstanding. The mic is yours.
Well, I certainly feel the love here tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to first, from the bottom of my heart, say that I accept this proud honor of serving as your new principal of West Orange High School. I'd like to thank President Tunnicliffe and the rest of the board members for their decision and for their support. I'd like to thank Dr. Schoen for believing in me and my ability to take this new position. I'd like to thank Principal Moore for also, playing a part in this transition, and everyone else who was involved in the selection process, who ran with the utmost class, and I was impressed the entire way and just excited more and more to become a part of this team. My family and I moved to this great community because it does pride itself on its diversity. And that's why, we purchased a home here. I'd like to thank my wife, Jessica, two of my 4 children who are here, Yuvia, Bo, and Sunny and Luna, who are home. I also know that our school district prides itself on its diversity, and that's what drove me to seek this position. I'm honored, I'm proud. I can't wait to get to work with the amazing staff and students at West Orange High School. Go Mountaineers.
There we go. So upon approval this evening, I will be sending out communication to our high school families as well as our district staff. Okay, we're not there yet, Mr. Stevenson. Do you want to move on the resolution right now?
We can do that
All right, here we go.
on the place in the. It's under-
Do you know what resolution it is, Ms. Flowers?
Yes, we're getting to it. Personnel,
Well, I gotta find it in the.
I know, appointments. Quite a bit going on tonight.
Oh, there's a lot of personnel tonight. Hold on.
What? It's
Yeah,
8.3B1.
Okay, A3.
8.
Okay.
A.
So
A.
Yeah, A3. Okay, so at this time, I would like to have a motion to approve the resolution A3B1.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson, and a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. Ms. Flowers, would you take the roll call?
Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliffe.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That was all of these too.
I just lost my glasses. All right, minor details I can't see. Sorry, everyone. Okay, congratulations. So communication will go out tomorrow morning. Tonight, I also want to take a moment to celebrate our Buildings and Grounds Department. Our Building and Grounds Department, headed by Mr. Mike Semino and Mr. Nick Muniz, have been working tirelessly alongside approximately 80 maintenance staff members on numerous projects throughout the summer, on weekends, on late nights, to ensure our schools were well prepared for the school year and that we were well poised to open up. As I visited every school during the first 2 days, I was so impressed with the cleanliness and the attention to detail. We are so appreciative of their efforts, and it is clear we would not have opened successfully without their dedication to our district. Thank them. Please. I would also like to make special reference and a congratulations of many sorts to Mr. Greg Cohen. Mr. Cohen is our transportation director. Would you just stand for a minute, Mr. Cohen? I'm sure all of you know this, but for those of you that don't, we transport almost 5,600 students in our district. Mr. Cohen started on August 8th and he hit the ground running. And despite ups and downs in the beginning of every school year, which is all sorts of typical, he has worked tirelessly, talk about late nights, early mornings, responds to every email, which ends in there are no issues, but there are solutions. So for being here, Mr. Cohen, thank you. very, very much. Tonight, I also want to take the opportunity to celebrate our administrators. While all of our administrators have worked and planned hours behind the scenes for a successful opening in all of our schools, we would specifically like to celebrate Mr. Xavier Fitzgerald and Mr. Stephen Melendez, both of whom are noted on our agenda as stepping up to acting principal positions at both Liberty and Edison respectfully. Both Mr. Fitzgerald and Mr. Melendez have embraced their new roles with the qualities of true leaders that I have always admired. Each has embraced their new roles with care, kindness, heartfelt enthusiasm, and positivity, all of which will serve Liberty and Edison students well. As your interim superintendent, I could not be more sincerely proud to work by your side. True leaders step up. They step up in a district's time of need, and we are fortunate to have both of you on staff. Thank you. Tonight, we also celebrate programs. On September 8th, we were notified that we were awarded almost $1.9 million in preschool expansion aid this year, with funding moving forward at no cost to our district and taxpayers. In our first year, we will now be able to offer approximately 144 3- and 4-year-olds within the predominantly Washington and Hazel community, a comprehensive preschool program. Ms. Ebony Demendez, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and her amazing preschool expansion aid team worked tirelessly to make our dream become our incredible reality. Ms. Demendez, would you please share a few words with us?
There's an ancient proverb that asks, how do you move a mountain? To which its wise elders responded, one spoonful of soil at a time. And today it is with a profoundly grateful and humbled heart that the collective we of the West Orange school community can with conviction and confidence say, we have moved a mountain. And now we can begin a journey. And over the next 5 years, the West Orange Public Schools is able to provide full-time, high-quality preschool education to all 3- and 4-year-old residents for 2 consecutive years prior to entering kindergarten at no cost to our parents and without additional burden to the taxpayer. Preschool for all. Preschool for every child, from every family, regardless of. However, our unique life space and personal experience leads us to fill in that blank. The resounding echo on every page of our preschool application in year 1 spoke to removing barriers, that which hinders and stands in the way between our children in their earliest years and access to teaching and learning. Because universal preschool is grounded in the advocacy that affordability cannot be permitted to be the barrier between a preschool age child and the basic right to education. In defense of every student, but especially those who entered a classroom for the first time in kindergarten because there was no other choice, each one of us in our respective roles have taken up our spoons and removed 1 spoonful of soil at a time. In 2020-21, the Executive PTA Council led by Tez Roro took up their spoon. They strongly compelled our district administration to pursue preschool expansion aid so that the limitations of the district budget would not be the barrier in providing early childhood education to all students. Their community-based advocacy held us accountable to the resources that were available to us and prompted us to action. Thank you. On September 20th, 2021, the Board of Education took up their spoon and adopted the following board goal on the 20th of September to continue to engage in a process of research, information gathering, and community engagement relative to the submission of the preschool expansion grant application to the New Jersey Department of Education to successfully submit the grant application and to receive the grant award. Thank you. Our preschool expansion committee was formed shortly thereafter, and as perfect timing would have it, our interim superintendent took up her spoon with clarity and unwavering support. Dr. Schoen, you gave us the space, the trust, and you mobilized the resources across every single department in the district so that we could work, so that we could plan, and so that we could write a viable and competitive application, so that it could be implemented not next year, not when the new superintendent comes, but now. Thank you. And to the boots on the ground who took up their spoon and their laptops and their pens and their most valuable asset, their time, and you spent it on our children. For the past year and a half, our preschool education committee researched, analyzed, wrote, revised, directly supported our families, and they planned to open a preschool without the assurance that we would even get funded. They invested a year and a half not knowing if this would be possible. After school, over the summer, from the beach, from their vacations, they were writing. They planted seed without knowing. And as a direct result of their commitment and diligence on September 28th, in less than 10 days, the West Orange Early Childhood Learning Center will open its doors. Yeah. In partnership with the West Orange Community House led by Mr. Paul Cito and the Montclair Childhood Development Center Head Start led by Rosalind Terry, Tanya Poteet, and Susan Chabursky, together in year one, we will serve 144 three-year-old children. Over the next 5 years, approximately 922. And to get it in perspective, if we live for just another 20 years, we will have served over 16,000 preschool students with just one decision to install preschool. We are realizing a legacy in West Orange. Before the thank yous, I just want to ask Kalisha Dorlian to stand. The board approved her at our last special board meeting. She is our supervisor of early childhood. I want to there's so many people to thank, so I just want you to bear with me. Those who supported our preschool application from their departments, our business office, Tanya Flowers, Anna Flores, our personnel department, Dr. Vespignani, Linda Teresi, Kathy Winston, our food services department, Lori Craigle, our transportation department, Greg Cohen, he's getting that bus, amen. My administrative assistant, Elizabeth Papa, for supporting every element of our process. Mayor Parisi for getting us parking spaces in the lot and permits for all of our teachers. Thank you. For everybody who's assisted. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for a special thanks, we'd like to honor our preschool committee, those who are here. If when I call your name, if you could just come to the front, and those who aren't, we are indebtedly grateful to you. I'd begin with Beatrice Hanratty, the co-chair of the preschool committee. Yeah. And we have a letter that's just going to everyone with a bag of seeds representing just a gesture, the seed that's being planted. So Beatrice, thank you. We couldn't have done this. Yeah. To our PTA Executive Council represented by Ms. Tez Roro. Susan Dannemiller, our parent liaison and preschool provider who provided us leadership and guidance throughout the process. To our Betty Madalena crew, if you are here, Connie Salambino, the principal, Marie DeMayo, principal of Washington, and Kristen Gogarty Fitzgerald, our executive director of special services. They had to go full time in order for us to apply, and they moved heaven and earth to make it happen. So if you would come up, thank you. That's another benefit. Our preschool disabilities program is now full-time in all aspects. Thank you to Nancy Mullen, who also was a liaison for us as it relates to preschool. In support of our English language learners, Felix Plata, Teresita Bradley, and Andres Cano. Our reading specialist who focused and supported our application through all things literacy, Leslie Diglio and Jen Sisman. Yeah. This is Jen. To our elementary school and kindergarten teachers, Jennifer Catalano and Miriam Cargbo Jackson, who really informed our preschool application for kindergarten transition. Michelle Martino, who informed all things data in our application and make sure that we really justified our position. To those who aren't here, Mike Semino, who really helped us with everything for the facilities, the construction, to Angela Rosado, who registered all of our parents and made sure that she was available for us at the after-school parent outreach. There were so many people who contributed. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for your assistance, for your support, and we look so forward to serving all of our 3- and 4-year-old students for the years to come. Thank you, everybody.
Mike, one more round of applause for, if I may, Mr. Mendez, you did an outstanding job, but if we could all have a round of applause for Mr. Mendez, who oversaw all of this, please. Thank you. Okay, here comes the last celebration. And this last one is a big one. We are one of 9 schools in the state of New Jersey to be awarded the most distinguished award of schools. It is a result of the hard work of staff, a result of administrators like Dr. Carr and Mr. Beaumont. It is the work of Miss Jackson, who was by her staff's side the entire time. It is with a great deal of pride that we honor Redwood Elementary School as a blue ribbon. The microphone is yours, Miss Jackson. You knew you were going to say something.
Good evening, everyone. I did a lot of talking on Friday, a lot of crying on Friday, and today I want to do a lot of thinking. I did not do this alone. I don't want to only thank Dr. Carr and Mr. Beaumont, but I also want to thank Barbara Kivlon, who paved the way when I started here in 2004, Bruce Arcurio, who was there after her, then Dr. Carr, Mr. Beaumont, as well as Anna Marti, our assistant principal. Redwood has always been a high achieving school from the day I walked through those doors. There's never been a day that I didn't think we could do this. There was never a day that I doubted us. I was just so proud on February 7th when I received the nomination, because I knew that someone out there in the world noticed us. The little house, the little schoolhouse on the hill. So to whoever nominated us, I say thank you. I know it's a high educational official in New Jersey, so I say thank you. But I also say thank you to, of course, my parents, my Redwood parents. Mr. Guerrero is one. I say it to my students, and I most of all say it to my staff, 21 of them, which at the very last minute, when I needed help and they saw me struggling with the application day and night, night and day, until 11 o'clock at night sometimes, Saturday and Sunday, my administrative assistant, Dinah, she took the baton and she said, you know what, Ms. Jackson, we are a family. We are the school that cares, and we will get this done. We will do this together. So for all of the staff members who helped me write the application, for to all the staff members who give their very best every single day, to all of my children, to all of our support, I say thank you. I have some of my teachers here tonight. They are phenomenal. So I have Cargo Jackson, Ms. Miriam Cargo Jackson here tonight, Ms. Diglio, as well as Ms. Teresita Bradley, 3 of my Redwood staff who also helped, and they are amazing. So for those of you who don't know us, now you do. We are the school that cares, and we are the school who will always be high achieving. So I thank you. Congratulations.
Oh,
So my
go Rockets.
You had to say it. You
You
just
had
had
to
to
say
say it. As we said on the first day of school, when we met it as staff, right, and we chose the theme for this year of infinite possibilities, I don't think that there is an evening that speaks to that more than all of the accomplishments that we have had in our district. We've been here for, I think, 9 days, and we have a blue ribbon, and we have a pre-K program. We've always had amazing administrators, and we have an outstanding staff. So if there were ever a district poised for infinite possibilities, it is us. It is now. We are West Orange. So congratulations to all of us.
Well, after all that excitement, I'm not sure how I can follow that up, but I do have an exciting report about Mount Pleasant Elementary School. We took a little hiatus over the summer, and I'm back to telling you about all of the schools in our district. And tonight we're going to celebrate Mount Pleasant School. They've started off their school year strong. Our teachers are enjoying getting to know their students, and our students are so happy and loving the first days of school. They are doing wonderful work learning the routines and procedures of the classroom, and we are so proud of them. Our PTA hosted an Ice Pop Social on Friday, September 9th, and so many of our families attended. It was a beautiful evening and gathering. Our first PTA meeting was on September 14th, and this too was a huge success. They're really excited to host families on September 20th for back to school night. And it's a wonderful opportunity for our families to visit classrooms and learn about grade level expectations and curriculum. So good things happening at Mount Pleasant. So next, we're going to have questions or comments from the public on agenda items only. Any community member who would like to make a comment or ask questions can come to the lectern at this time. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. If anyone has a comment, you can come up now.
Good evening, Tesroro 24 Hutton. Tonight is a very exciting night for all of us with pre-K expansion. Finally, it's still sort of registering, right? It's sort of theoretical for me. I think maybe when I see the kids in the classroom. So I just want to tell you a little bit about the story and how the district and the administration was brave enough. If you notice the timeline, this huge project was taken up during a pandemic, right? When the education system and the healthcare system was the most stressed, right? And anytime I attended a Board of Education meeting, I would ask my questions. I would start off saying, you can't pay me enough to do what y'all are doing, because it was the hardest job, right? And yet you were able to take it over. I think this is a beautiful story about, the community and PTA partnership with the administration, right? Being open to that possibility, and also the audacity to take on a project that we've been told no in the past many times, right? I'm sure this wasn't the first time someone thought of this or tried. Space has always been an issue, and we found a way to work around that. And I also want to thank the parents who were mobilizing right ahead of the district creating their own committee, who were sending emails and showing up and saying, yes, we want this. I think it's also their voice that helped cement and be adopted into a district and board goal. That's huge. So if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you. It matters when you show up, right? Not only when there's problems, but also to propose. So we did this as a community. And I love that this is a PTA advocacy. So if anyone thinks PTA is just about the bake sale, remember pre-K. Okay, that's how this came about to be. And I want to thank Dr. Schoen because when she came in and she was installed as the interim superintendent, if you remember, I came up, I said, please don't drop this. Please make this, continue to make it a priority. And you said you would, and you delivered. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roro. Seeing no other comments, I guess we can move on to our resolutions. So I'd like to have a motion to approve the personnel items A1 through A9 with the exception of A3B1, which is the one we've already just approved.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. Ms. Flowers, will you take the roll call?
Ms. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes. So I want to make one note on this agenda item is I'd like to congratulate our retiree, Mr. Jerry Companion, head custodian at Kelly Elementary School, and to say thank you so much for your 21 years of service to the West Orange students and to our school community. We wish you all the best in your retirement as you join the Everyday Saturday Club. Is there any discussion from board members? Okay. Great. Now I'd like to have a motion to approve the curriculum and instruction items B1 through.
We did.
We did vote already. B1 through B5.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Any discussion? Nope, seeing none. Ms. Flowers, kindly take the roll call.
Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve finance items C, special services items 1 through 4, and business office items 1 through 11?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Second,
I'll second.
Ms. Huerta. Any discussion?
Just thanks. Just thank you to the donors, Susan Palamucci of Cleveland School, who donated books for students valued at $400 to $500. And the NJ Manufacturers Insurance Company, who donated $10,000 to the West Orange High School Youth Advisory Board. So thank you to our donors.
Thank you. Okay. And may I have a motion to approve the HIB report?
I'm sorry, 1 second. We need to vote on.
Oh, I
finance, please.
apologize. Sorry.
Mhm.
Yes. Roll call.
Vote. Thank you. Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I'd like to have a motion to approve the HIB report D item 1.
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta and Mr. Rock. Roll call.
Okay. Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and now I'd like to turn to our student liaisons. I think you have a report for us.
Yes. Yes, we do. First, we'd like to congratulate Redwood Elementary School, like the board mentioned earlier, on being a National Blue Ribbon School. This is a huge accomplishment, and we are very proud to have a school like this in our district. So we just would like to say congratulations as part of the student liaisons. We'd like to congratulate the Nikhil Badlani Foundation on a successful Stop for Nikhil Run Walk, which was held yesterday, September 18th, and it was its 12th annual run walk. This month is National Hispanic/Latino Heritage Month, being celebrated from September 15th to October 15th. We just would like to mention that. This current week is Green Ribbon Week, which is a mental health awareness week in partnership with the Grassroots Community Foundation. We are spreading awareness and mental health practices all week long throughout our schools, and we're inviting everyone to wear green to show support. Yoga and other positive activities are also being planned throughout the week. This past Friday, September 16th, Senior Fun Day was held, which the seniors took part in, where they enjoyed getting tattoos, riding a mechanical bull, playing carnival games, and enjoying some refreshments and some popcorn. Also, we'd like to acknowledge that there was a huge turnout at our first football game. There was a huge turnout in the student section for the Hawaiian themed football games. We'd like to acknowledge that.
This year's pep rally was held at Serenio Stadium, where the variety of our school teams performed dances. The fall play was announced. It will be Alice in Wonderland, and it will be performed between November 17th and November 19th. The spring musical was also announced. It's going to be Grease, and it's coming in April of 2023. The West Orange High School's Glee Club annual Broadway night is a benefit concert that's supporting Broadway Care / Equality Fights AIDS, which will be at the end of October.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great job for your first report. Okay, and that concludes our meeting. I want to thank you all for being here and for celebrating all the wonderful things. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. We have one more petition of citizens. I'm ahead of myself here. So if there's anyone else who wants to speak on any agenda item or non-agenda item, you have 3 minutes at the lectern. You can approach the lectern, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, I had to be first. Gina Velasquez, Chair of WOCPAC. And for those of you who don't know what WOCPAC is, it's West Orange Special Education Parents Advisory Committee. I am the chair for the WOCPAC. Okay, let me just breathe for a minute. I'm not a speaker, public speaker at all. So what I want to say is in regards to the pep rally that you guys had for the faculty, I was aware of it. And my first thought was how wonderful everyone was included, the teachers, the administrative, the security, the food prep people, everybody, right? The PTA, everybody was included except us. We were not included. And so I just want to bring that to your attention. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but I just want you to be mindful that we deserve to be included. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say, that next time, please include us. Wherever the PTA is involved, we deserve to be involved as well. Our families and our kids deserve to be with their typical peers. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Jason Jackson, 25 Westview Road, resident of West Orange, also a teacher and a coach here at West Orange High School. Tried to get over here a little bit earlier, want to welcome Principal Guerrero. One of the things that to me that I'm excited about, in the classes that I teach in the business education department, I normally have multiple ESL students. And when Principal Moore being here as my principal, and the representation is very, very important. So I'm excited for all of our students, but specifically that I think there's going to be a comfort level for a lot of our students, and to be able to just connect and maybe open up a little bit more about their experience here, that'll be able to help them just enjoy their education while they're here. One of the things that I think happened really quickly, and just I had to, when you look at the board agenda and you see, who the individual is, and then you kind of start reaching out to kind of find out the process and how quickly it happened. But I did know and dug a little bit and know that it was very thorough. So I'm excited about that. And And just for the individuals that may be watching or don't know how the process works, a lot of times I think it helps or benefits just to inform the community. I know we send out surveys, I know we send out emails, but you know, I'm not sure what else to do, but just to make sure that they understand the process and the steps and what it takes to get an individual here, you know, within the district. So welcome, looking forward to it, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. If I may, Mr. Jackson, I think that your point is excellent. Since Dr. Vespignani started with us as our director of HR a couple of years ago, he put in a pretty comprehensive practice. I've never seen anything quite as comprehensive as filling positions here in West Orange. So once we place an advertisement out there, it stays out for 10 days. And that is our typical piece with that. And we have a very comprehensive, Mr. Guerrero can speak to this application process online that pretty much requires just about everything. So there's a lot of vetting that occurs there. And then all of the applicants, we take a look at all of them. Dr. Vespignani does, and then he does what he calls a phone screener. And he has a member of an administrative staff kind of go through the top 8, perhaps 6 or 8 candidates. And then from there, 4 to 6 are typically chosen. And they are chosen to sit before a panel. And that panel is very comprehensive. Mr. Guerrero can attest to that. It includes, in our case, with the high school position, it includes high school teachers, high school parents, district administrators, district central office administrators. So a number of people. And then what happens after that is the panel uses a matrix. And they all vote on the matrix and the different categories that the stakeholder determined through the survey prior that were important qualities of an administrator. And then there is a number that comes up and candidates are then ranked. I typically will sit with Dr. Vespignani and a board member for the final interview with 1 to 2 candidates. In the case of Mr. Guerrero, I was with Mr. Moore, and rightfully so, as his successor, meaning Mr. Guerrero and our board president, Tunnicliffe. So I think, Mr. Jackson, it's important to know and to repeat this kind of every now and then when we've got some of these positions that are open, that the process is very, very comprehensive. Was it rushed? No, we did exactly the same steps that we had done before. Could we have waited perhaps another couple of weeks to do a second round? Perhaps we could have. But we knew that the person who would be coming in would typically have 60 days release on their contract. When you leave mid-year and you are a sitting administrator, it is not likely for a superintendent to release you early. I know that I would not, because then what you're doing is you're just leaving a school kind of without administrative coverage. So you keep typically your administrators for 60 days on contract. So I knew that would be the case with Mr. Guerrero, but interestingly enough, it not only would have been the case from his superintendent, if I may speak from you, it was your case as well. And it was something that you asked of me. And you said, please allow me to close up what I'm doing well. My district deserves that. And any candidate who speaks about their district in that way will speak about us the same. So the 60 days was on purpose. So did we move it up a week or so? Yes, knowing it would be 60 days and wanting to get you in as soon as possible. We did, but the process was consistent as any other process that we had. So thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm sorry for the delay.
Nicole Rufo for Overlook Avenue. I first want to just congratulate the new principal, Mr. Guerrero. It's very exciting. I already follow him on Twitter. I found him on there. It's very exciting. And I think you have a child in the district, so a vested family, right? That's exciting. And I liked hearing the process. I think it would be helpful to be hearing about the process that you just shared. It's nice to hear that.
I'll just do it every time.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah.
everybody isn't always watching all the time.
And maybe even online, because not everyone makes it to the meetings, right? Like just like a little form online that shares it. Anyways. I also am on WOCPAC with Gina, and I echo her comments, and just, the idea of us being included in all the events is very important. I would also like to address the dress code letter that we received from the deans last month. This is my first year as a high school parent, and I was very impressed when Mr. Moore welcomed us on the freshman tour, telling us that the West Orange High School is an inclusive place. And later that day, actually, the dress code letter came out, and it didn't really feel very inclusive. I appreciate the acknowledgement in the letter of everything that the school district and community have been through during the last couple of years. with COVID, the Black Lives Matter protests, the necessary work in our district of anti-racism, ensuring equity and inclusion in our schools, and just surviving this pandemic. I actually really felt like we could have moved past these dress codes, and especially they're often shaming and time wasting effects, and often are racist, sexist, and classist. And advocates and legal experts say that school dress codes are often used to single out Black and other girls of color, in addition to the LGBTQ+ and gender nonconforming students. And we also know that there's a severe mental health crisis for our youth occurring in this country, and the added burden of worrying about clothing choices only adds to the insecurities and stress during our school day. And also the word distraction was mentioned a couple of times in the letter. I think it's important to understand the connection between fashion and distractions. Everything that we put on our body is a choice that we make, and it's a statement. It communicates something to the world. And I think that we all are a little distracted by people's outfits, and sometimes it's meant to be that way, right? Like that's why they have fashion runways, so that you see a fashion item and you see things and you notice them, but then you move on with your job and you refocus. And it's actually a learning tool, I think, in school, that if you are distracted by clothing choices and you refocus the rest of your life and your job, you're going to be doing that out in the world, the clothes that you put on and the clothes that other people put on. It's also very important to understand that the clothes that people choose make themselves feel comfortable, and they feel good about what they're wearing. And we want people to be at school learning and feeling comfortable while they're learning. Dorinda Carters-Andrews, who's a professor of race, culture, and equity at Michigan State University, said that school administrators should look closely at the dress codes and what they want them to accomplish. Does the policy in any way serve to police or surveil student bodies? And if so, how do we redress the policy? Carter-Andrews said, I think the second question people need to ask is, does our dress code further marginalize students who are already further marginalized by school culture? These are basic questions that need to be on the table before policies even get created. Thank you.
Good evening. Stephanie Ladone, 11 Old Salem Road. I'm here tonight as a parent of elementary schoolers in the district. My family and I have lived in West Orange since 2016, and every year since, we've heard the community conversation around the issue of the dress code. In 2017, it was that students couldn't wear leggings without also wearing a shirt that goes over the pants. In 2018, our elementary schoolers were told that bike shorts were a violation of the dress code. Those have since been removed, but what remains is no better. Straps must be wider than 2 inches, skirts at least mid-thigh. And the most recent communication from the high school sent out reminders to parents and students of 4 aspects of the dress code, 2 of which disproportionately affect girls. While the district's dress code policies aren't exclusively gendered, banning things like leggings, bike shorts, exposed midriffs or undergarments are telling girls in very clear terms that the natural shape and appearance of their bodies is distracting to others. And for the sake of others, the onus is on girls to prevent such distractions by covering their bodies. Perhaps the district administration doesn't know the messaging they're communicating with such policies. So let's look at the outcomes here. What are the data telling us? Is the district keeping track of how many times students are being dress coded? What's the breakdown by gender, by race? Are these data available to the community? For example, I see at the elementary levels, flip-flops are a dress code violation. I'd be interested in seeing the data there. How many students are being pulled aside because they've got flip-flops or sandals on at school? I'm willing to be wrong here, but anecdotally in my experiences as a 5th grade parent, I know just about 0. However, I do know far too many elementary school girls pulled aside because their skirts and shorts are deemed not long enough to be able to learn appropriately. Finally, I'd like to know what educational research such policy is grounded in. Where's the conclusive link between dress code and learning? The educational research is inconclusive and mixed. It's not clear that an exposed midriff or a bra strap will interfere with a learning environment. But do you know what does impede with a student's opportunity to learn? Taking them out of their learning environments because their lower back is exposed. I encourage the administration to go back to the drawing board on this one. Call on your community, your parents, your students to partner in on this discussion. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Mike Miller, 10 Greenwood Ave. I just want to wrap things up with a great big thank you. Thank you for the best bake sale we have ever had. Tez, thank you for deciding we ought to make this cookie. We ought to do this. Susan, thank you for putting in the ingredients that you knew would work, were healthy, and would be tasty. Ebony, thanks for putting together this crew of culinary experts to put together this just amazing, I'll call it the cookie, but this cookie that we just put together, you sold it to the state. They paid for it. You didn't come to us. It didn't come out of our pockets. The whole team, thank you for putting together what I thought was absolutely impossible. And you did the impossible. And you are going to be, as you said, 16,000 students in the next, was that 20 years? Thank you from every one of them who don't have a voice tonight, but we are helping West Orange communities for the next generation. So thank you for all your effort. And wow, you really know how to throw a bake sale.
Thank you.
Hello, Robert Ifker, 12 Lakeview Drive. I just wanted to mention that I too was here yesterday for the Walk for Nikhil, and it was very touching and very moving. One of the takeaway messages that I got from it was there were a couple tables there where people were speaking firsthand about the horrors of suicide in their family. And I just hope that going forward, there'll be continued effort from the community, from the council, from the school board, whoever, because it touches so many people that we know more than we think. And if there's anything we can do as a community to just get there a little earlier, we should try. And I don't know what's on the agenda for the school board in the next year or for the council, but I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I believe that is, we're going to close the meeting. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight to celebrate our district for so many great things going on. Oh, Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Superintendent Schoen, and thank you, President Tunnicliffe. I just wanted to, again, as a proud Redwood parent, celebrate Redwood Elementary. Congratulate Mr. Guerrero and his family for his appointment. But more importantly, with respect to the movement in the district and this acknowledgement of Redwood's blue ribbon acknowledgement from the Department of Education. One thing I just want to point out, as Ms. Diglio, Ms. Carwell-Jackson, Ms. Bradley, and Ms. Jackson are here, Redwood had double-digit gains in ELA and math in the aftermath of the pandemic. As we discussed learning loss across the country, specifically in West Orange, where issues of race, culture, class are paramount in our discussions, I just want to point out really quickly that third graders had an ELA gain by 9.4% over the previous year, 12.2 in math. The fourth graders, 13.8% in ELA, 11.2 in math. The fifth graders, nearly 20% at 19.1 for ELA and 17.5 in math. This is post-pandemic. Post-pandemic. These are phenomenal achievements. I want to congratulate Principal Jackson and the entire staff and faculty at Redwood. They are an exemplar, not perfect. We're all progressive. And as parents, we will continue to work in collaboration and partnership to create accountability, to create the systems by which we can best serve our students. But we really do, I wanted to add some numbers to that success, some numbers to that accolade, because it's really important for parents in this community to recognize and understand that when there's a commitment, we can see gains, we can see achievement. Our children can learn. Parents can work in collaboration with their schools to see this level of achievement. So let this not be the pinnacle, right? This is the beginning. This is the start. This is the example that we can hopefully begin to replicate district-wide and produce the best schools in the state of New Jersey. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for adding to that. I think it really does make a difference when you hear the numbers and understand that it was significant. So we're super excited about that. Any other comments? Or do we just want to stay here all night? No. All right, on my third try to close this meeting. Thank you again for all being here. Thank you for those of you who are tuning in from home. Our next regular board meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. on October 17th. And we will be right here back in the high school library media center. We will not be going into executive session after the close of this meeting. There will be no further business discussed and no additional action taken. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is now adjourned.